Today is the 7th of February, and after about 10 days in Uligamu in the Maldives, we have set sail for Djibouti. We thoroughly enjoyed our time in Uligamu. People are very friendly. We managed to get all our diesel and some top-up provisionings and everything else that we needed. So we are on our way under sunny blue skies. Today is Sunday, the 13th of February. We are currently motoring after several days of fabulous sailing. We are approaching the halfway mark to Djibouti, and we're about 240 nautical miles from the internationally recommended transit corridor. So we hope it all goes well there. So this morning we have a very nondescript sunrise. We had a white haze which was probably created by the waxing gibbous behind the overcast sky as the sun was rising, and with the completely flat seas it felt like we were in a snow globe that had been shaken. Couldn't see the horizon or distinguish between the sea and the sky at all. But the good news is we are halfway to Djibouti, just crossing the halfway mark around about now. After entering the high-risk area and before the internationally recommended transit corridor was the most stressful part of this passage for us, since many vessels were underway without lights, no AISs on and on radio silence, given that the more recent piracy activities were happening before the corridor in this stretch. Today is Tuesday the 15th of February, and we have entered the internationally recommended transit corridor for vessels to transit in the Gulf of Aden between Socotra and Somalia on the one side and Yemen on the other side, heading towards Djibouti. And as I scroll down here, pan down, here is the corridor, and there's a few ships in it. We are motoring right now, motor sailing, in the 2 nautical mile zone between the east and the westbound separation lanes. We don't have any wind at all. We haven't had wind since last night, so we have been motoring or motor sailing, doing the best we can, and let's hope all goes well. This morning Roy was on watch and he was hailed by a Japanese warship, asked us a few questions, and then sent us on our way. Okay, the other thing we forgot to add on Tuesday the 15th of February is we have officially crossed the Indian Ocean, coming up to the Horn of Africa. Woohoo! Today is the 16th of February, and our task for the day is to clean the very dirty fuel that we've got in Uligamu in the Maldives. So obviously we don't want to put this fuel into the fuel tanks, So what Roy is doing is repiping our automatic fuel polishing system from the starboard engine, and he's going to polish the fuel from a dirty jerry can into a clean one, and he'll repeat that cycle twice before we actually add it to the tanks. A real pain, but it has to be done. Fortunately, we still had clean fuel from Thailand, of which we used to top up our tanks 2 days ago, and we still have 100 liters spare. So we've got to get this fuel polished so that we can use the empty jerry cans to fill up in Djibouti before we head to the Suez Canal. So Roy has just repiped one of the fuel pipes from our fuel polishing system on the starboard engine, and he's about to do the second one. So we have one in and one out, and obviously the in will be from the jerry can with dirty fuel, and the out will be the cleaner fuel into a clean jerry can. And so we'll just repeat for all the jerry cans that we have, about 13 of them that have to be polished. Okay, so we now have the 2 jerry cans positioned. The jerry can with the dirty fuel is the black one, and Roy has put a stick attached to the pipe to ensure we're not taking our fuel from the very bottom of that dirty can. And then the white can is actually the diesel that's been polished, and you can see it starting to fill up from the bottom. So yeah, we have to just keep doing this until it's all done. So the fuel pump's been going for a while, and as you can see, I'll zoom in, we have much cleaner fuel, almost here actually. So this is working. Today is Friday the 18th of February. We've just had our penultimate night at sea, the sun rising in the east, and we are sailing again at long last. We've been sailing since early this morning. We do have a significantly high following sea, which is also helping boost us along. So we're looking forward to our last night at sea and heading into Djibouti tomorrow sometime. Today is Saturday the 19th of February, and we have safely made it to Djibouti. We are on our approach to the designated anchorage, where we've been told to spend the day and leave tomorrow. We will be getting a PCR test, and once it's declared that we're negative, we will get our visas to actually go on shore. So yeah, after a very long, tiring and definitely stressful, challenging passage, we've made it. Woohoo! Can't be a bit more enthusiastic than that because we're both exhausted, but glad to be here. So I'll pan in a little bit as we've got in closer so that you can see the shoreline. Looks like either resorts or apartments in the front here. We know there's the People's Palace, and we're not sure if these big buildings that I'm looking at now are the palace. Well, I guess we'll find out once we get settled. And then as I pan round, you can actually see it's very much a commercial port. We've seen a lot of oil tankers actually in the anchorage, and we understand the yacht anchorage is just ahead. That's where we're on our way to. So we're almost at the anchorage. So this is a closer view of the coastline than what I gave previously. Houses, apartments, and then this is the commercial area, the shipping. And I believe we anchor behind this breakwater, so that'll be hopefully protected and calm. And then as you come round, you can see houses and some buildings in the background. But it is basically as flat as a pancake and desolate looking. After our first night at anchor, very calm and peaceful, we now have the US Navy bringing in their US Coast Guard boat, causing a massive wake. And to be honest, we didn't see them at all when we were out in the corridor. So not sure which area they're patrolling, but there's an awful lot of them here in the harbour. See these fancy boats around it, obviously protecting the Coast Guard boat coming in. Seems a little bit of an overkill, but anyway, so be it. The Candiba arrived a few hours after us. That was followed by Tallulah Ruby and Golden Spirit arriving the following day. And then Morgan, CU and Sans Per arrived the day after that. So everybody arrived safe and sound, thankfully. The filth was so bad that Roy came back completely speechless. And after our first dinghy trip ashore, which was a nightmare in itself, Elaine never went back ashore. She stayed on the yacht for the rest of the time while we were in Djibouti. But it cost us $200 for the privilege of being able to go ashore and actually leave the dinghy in the marina. What a rip-off. So Roy was the one who had to make the trips to the ATM and the supermarkets, walk in or in filthy taxis, and trying to stay safe while being constantly harassed by aggressive individuals. Never mind trying to survive the taxi drive to and from the supermarkets. Not only was the driving terrible, but apparently the roads were just as bad and the other drivers were even worse.
To be fair, if you can get a drink there, when you do your big shop, you're up for it. Actually, it's quite good today. Well, the fuel is amazing. I think that it gives like 3 days.
However, when he returned with freshly baked baguettes, French pastries, French cheeses and pâté, it made everything worthwhile. So this is one of the warships coming in. Not quite sure which country it is. It certainly looks like ones that we've seen while we were out in the corridor. Djibouti was definitely the worst destination on our circumnavigation. Between paying bribes, everyone wanting bakshish, then pulling a face when you gave them something, and then being constantly scanned, our departure couldn't have come soon enough.